Transmission Wednesday guy, Khaiden. I talk to you about patience and timing while transitioning. So, usually what I tell people, anything in life that is worth fighting for, you have to be extremely patient, and the timing has to be right. If not, then you're going to go through these multiple failures, and you're going to see why. And it definitely applied with my transition. When I first started thinking about transitioning, I was in high school, definitely in high school, or was I in middle school? I may have been in middle school. And I knew I was different from everybody else. I knew I knew I was different. I really didn't associate with my peers. I had a few friends, but that was because we grew up with each other, like literally started school, like Head Start together. But other than that, I was just going through the motions, truly. I do still have some really good friends and great friends, actually. Just never see them, truly. But, and when they see me now, it's weird. Like, when they see me now, they be like it's funny, because I was there, like, and I post pictures all the time on social media, so everybody's busy. But, truly, my transition, it happened subconsciously. I had control over it, but not that much control. And you're going to see why. When I first started transitioning, I wanted to start researching stuff. I was maybe in middle school. I would just search girl who felt like a boy, basic things in the Google. Things came up, not that much, just because back then in 2007, anywhere from 2005 to 2008, there was not many people who transitioned. Not many that you can find on Google. Then in high school, kind of forgot about it, really just let it settle. Really came out, told my mom I liked girls, my mom and my dad. So I came out as a lesbian first. Knew something still wasn't right. Actually, my mom asked me a question when I came out and was like, is this all? And I was like, yeah, but in the back of my mind, I was like, no, it's not all, no. But the reaction, I really didn't feel like going through emotions of everything that I knew was going to happen from there. So, didn't really tell my mom that. Then, a couple years later, a year later, I met my girlfriend that I'm currently with now. And she was the first person that I told that, look, I like women, but I'm not a woman. Like, I'm not a woman. Like, I have these parts, but I'm not a woman. Like, I cannot identify with these parts. Like, they just don't work for me. And she kind of backed off from me. And after that, she came back, talked to me, and she was like, okay, so what do you want to do? A couple years later, down the line, I'm in college. Then comes the creeping up the door. Like, it like literally creeped up, like, just came from out of nowhere. The feeling of like being like somebody to know that I was female, it petrified me everywhere that I went. Like, for people to say she, her, girl, it really truly, like, I sunk in my soul. And when I got to college, I was at a college in New Orleans. I was doing very, very well. Then when these feelings came about, because they came in intervals, when they came about, it kind of really took a toll on my academics, along with financial reasons as well. When that happened, I always pointed out the financial reasons, never the I need to start transitioning reasons. Then I moved from that school. Within 2 days of the school starting, I got accepted. I had to move up there, and I had to get ready for class. I still was not focused on my transition. Did well in classes. Passed. Let's just say that. Passed. But at the end, I started to struggle because these feelings started to creep up around like October. So, sorry guys. So in October of 2014, I started seeing a therapist to tell them how I felt. I did have a few incidences that I kind of don't promote, especially with being transgendered, because a lot of people like to associate certain things with other things. But it's not that. It's the fact that I knew where I was at. I couldn't be who I was. So that with anybody will sink their soul, for real. It will petrify you to know that you have something to say. You can't say it because you know the reaction you're going to get. So I went to a therapist. I talked to him. And the very first session, really, he told me he'd never seen a transgender person, but he went to school for it. It was this motion. And after like, it was legit, like, I was uncomfortable the whole time I was sitting down. It was like, and he asked me, he said, do you know what gender dysphoria is? And I was like, no. He was like, you have it bad. Really bad. And every time he called me she, like, my, like, like, these would go, you know. And it was just like something that I didn't, like, my body subconsciously knew something's not right. So 4 or 5 sessions later, he writes my letter. He clears me. I don't have suicidal ideations. I don't have depression, any of that. What I was feeling initially was due to the fact that I couldn't say what I wanted to say. I was perfectly fine once I admitted it to myself and to my therapist. I was perfectly fine. After that, the pulling of the shirt really truly went away, because at those sessions he referred to me as male, and it just, the way that he talked to me and the way that it came about, it kind of like relaxed my body. And people don't understand that the human body knows what it wants. It knows. It just knows. And I truly, that's why I subconsciously transitioned. Then in December of 2014, I moved back to New Orleans. I moved back in January. I started transitioning January 13th. And this is why I say my transition was very weird. It happened, I don't know many guys who transitioned the way that I did. I was calling my endocrinologist legit from January. No, sorry, scratch that. I was calling my therapist from, I would say, I moved back home. My girlfriend and I, we ended up getting an apartment, moving in. We were going through my exercises when I got really dysphoric. We were going through, she called me he when we were at home by ourselves, just to ease, some of what I was going through before and the reason why I left home. And from there, I would say I went back to school in August of 2015. I went back to my original school. That's when my scholastics started to really just go downhill for financial reasons, but not just financial reasons. I was in class, but I was not in class. I would literally look up Aiden videos and be in class and listening to him talk about his transition and his wife and what they were going through and what they were doing. And it became an obsession to transition. So I would say I stopped going to school 2015? Was that? Yeah, 2015 spring semester, I stopped going to school just because of I did bad in school. That I didn't do bad, but I did like horrible for a science major. And I was like, look, my girlfriend sat me down and she was like, look, you know what you have to do. Stop BSing yourself, because what you're doing to yourself is you're sparing other people's emotions over your own. And when I realized that's what I was doing, I called my endocrinologist the following day. She said, "Oh, we don't have an appointment available. She's booked up until..." When she was booked up until March. This is December of 2015. Oh, she's booked up until May when I called again. This is January. We were talking about in January. I started transitioning. I had my first shot of tea January 13th. I called January 10th. I believe it was anywhere from 3 to 4 days before I actually got my appointment. Hey, I called. I spoke to the nurse. She said, "Baby," and for real, New Orleans accent. You could tell she's from New Orleans. She was like, "Baby,